Hi Tim, thank you for your interest, and let's see if I can just show you how these nav carts are loaded. We used to load these, we used to buy the blanks from EMI, when you could buy from EMI, and then I think it was 24 in a box, and then we used to load them on the Revox, because on the spool you've got the actual bit there that allow you to push that onto the actual spool. Okay, of the Revox, and we used to just do it, but that way you would lose about 3 runs of lubricated tape. You'd just have to keep pulling it, and all of a sudden it would free up. But because we used to buy the lube tape in pancakes, 10.5-inch pancakes, no spool but just the centre hub, and then I mean they were cheap compared with now. Tape was cheap, but it turned out to be not very reliable. I mean, it all shreds these days, so it wasn't made particularly well. Right, spool, lubricated tape with the lubrication side towards you. That goes towards the centre of the spool, the hub itself. You wind it round and bring it back on itself where it sits above, actually sits above the spool. And then you just continually wind it. You might think you'll be able to pull it like that and bring it all round, but it doesn't necessarily mean it will. I mean, this is not a lot of tape on this. Sometimes we used to load 5-6 minutes of tape, and then you would have to use the Revox to do that. And you could see it's fiddly doing it by hand, but that's it. So yeah, you bring the tape up, the record side is on the outside, lubricated side on the inside, and then you just keep winding it round until you've got all of your tape on the spool. If you're going to do a lot of like 10 minutes, 5 minutes of tape on a spool like this, you would be better off using the Revox, and I can show you that too. So this is an A2 audio pack. These cartridges are Aristocarts, Canadian. Exactly the same way you wind it with this method, but the actual cartridge itself is sort of, you have to wire the tape a different way with that cartridge. I think this is an A4 audio pack, one of the last ones they made, and again it's loaded differently. It comes out from the centre, comes up here, goes round there, across the pads, and then back round. And the idea of the long run around the outside of the cartridge was for stereo, I believe, where these were mainly mono. The only thing missing on this is the brake. The brake's broke, which tends to happen because it's a thin piece of plastic. And as we all know, as plastic gets old, it tends to break. So that's the way you would do that manually, like that. If you had loads to do and you had plenty of lubricated tape, let me see if I can set up for the Revox, show you how we used to do it on the Revox. Right, doing it on the Revox, it's been a long time since I've done this. Right, these are the retainers for the top of the spool, which you take off. You don't need that on there. Again, you get your lubricated tape, graphite side to the centre, record side to the outside. You put the tape so that the tape is going to come off the top of the spool. Now this works when you've got a couple of spools running of tape, better than trying to do it this way. So you've got it like that. So again, the record side's on the outside, and smooth that. And then it was just a question of winding, that's it, the tape on. Looks easy. Long time since I've done that. And as you can see, it's sort of got caught up underneath, but you should be able to, provided you didn't go full pelt at it. There you go. And there it is loaded. We used to do it that way because it was obviously a lot quicker than doing it by hand. And then when you had 24 from a box to do at all different lengths, this was just the way we did it. Right, let's go back to the desk. Okay, right, we're back. So now we've got the tape, comes off the top of the spool, comes round there. The brake on this one, as I said, I think it's broken, so there's no brake to contend with. Comes round China graph and make a mark on both tape on the inner sides. If you use a proper ends in the way splicing tape, you shouldn't have a problem. Simplest razor blades, which is still available. Lose that. Watch for your mark. There's your mark. I know you probably know how to do this anyway. It's pretty straightforward. Out the way. Just make sure it butts up. It does. Splicing tape, not sellotape. Yes, something like that, and then just make sure that's down. There used to be blue 3M blue splicing tape, which was really good. That was permanent. This is BASF. It's pretty good. Right, and because we've got no brake on this, because it's broke, we can just go straight round, but you would normally lift the brake, which would be here. Be braking it sort of there. Or there, I think. Can't remember now, a long time ago. Okay, and that's it. Of course, what's happened is, yes, the pressure pads are missing. This is, yeah, it's falling apart, but this is draft excluder. I used, originally used draft excluder years ago. Double-sided tape's crap. Draft excluder, and it works. And somebody made a comment on one of my other videos, whether it was this one or not, I don't know, one that you responded to, saying that's what he used, and it sort of reminded me that I did use it years ago, and yeah, it's still there. So yeah, the rubber draft excluder, proving as you get older your brain drops out all the time. Plus the fact of being locked down for months on end doesn't help. But there you go. Tim, I hope that helps. If there's anything else I can help you with, just let me know. I'll do my best. There's not many people out there really that interested in this equipment or the old-fashioned cartridges. But anyway, thanks for your interest.